Cut the song.
Okay, June.
Good night,
Good night.
Yeah. Do what you want.
You said talk. Let me ask. Well, the book. I'm hip to the book. Have you drunk all my drink, you? I'm telling Penny Valentine.
I think the first thing
So nice to meet you, and I told you, I can't blow my mind. Sorry. Right.
we more or less wanted to get into.
Well, let's get into. I can't apologise enough for it. I sound like some fucking American, all this apologising bullshit.
Yeah, so don't. Well,
No, I do, because I feel it, man. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't say it, you know? So let's rock.
yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about.
What?
Yeah. About
What?
the transition, more or less, from the folk, you know.
The transition comes through the need to communicate with more people than I had done in the past. Because I feel I only have 5 years that I want to give to rock and roll in the way that I'm doing now. I'm going to be a movie maker, I write books, and my time is very limited, and I love human beings, but I don't feel I have the stamina to continue for the next 40 years the way many people have. I just don't want to do it. I have many things that I haven't even gotten into, and I want to do them now, and I want it fast, for no material gain, only to make people's hearts feel good.
Yeah.
So that 5
You follow that, man.
Yeah. Does that 5 years start from, you know...
5 years started
Ride a White
from
Swan
Ride a
or
White
from
Swan.
early stuff?
Ride a White. No, early stuff I don't disown. That was
That's
my
a sort
beginning.
of a different phase.
Was my apprenticeship. I'm mainstream now, man. Before that I was in no bag. I accept being mainstream now. You know? I want to be hip AM, if you know what I mean. Which to me the Who, Hendrix, Cream were. You know, that's my bag, man. I don't want to be a cultist group because I have more to offer than that. People have more to offer. I don't want to be put in any bag, man. I'd rather be a lion tamer. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. Fine.
Oh my God. Okay, as far as
I'm tired, man.
did you just? Yeah, I could agree with that. But would you think that before you made the transition, did you think that what you had to offer in the new rock style would be commercial AM? Is that what, or to reach more people? Did you say, well, that's what I'm going to do, and so I'm going to change it, and I'm going to have this style? Or were you more or less open to say, well, I'll try this style if it doesn't work?
No. I never, at any point, it's very hard, it's very weird about when I talk with people. So I always sound such a cunt. I'm good at what I do, because I don't do it until I've spent a long time learning how to do it. Do you understand? I don't rush into anything. The only album I'm not happy with is Bit of Stars, because I ventured into electric guitar long before I should have done. And you know, I didn't play it well enough for what I was attempting to do. Although I love the songs on that album, I don't...
I'm surprised that you don't like that album.
No, I just...
Well, I'm not happy with
I like the album. No, I love the album. But I personally, there are certain moments when I go, you know, I cringe. Because I was a bit up on turning my 100 watt amp, my Marshall amp full up. You know what I mean? Which everyone does. And I shouldn't have done that. Which is why practically now I don't do any guitar solos. Although I think I'm a fucking good guitar player now. You know.
Why don't you do the solos if you have...
I do it live. Now this is getting back to America. Live in England, man, I do get it on. It's 20 minutes long. It's filled with guitar solos. I blow my head off, but I play to the audience.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the Elton John concert thing. Did you see the cut-in from that? Have you flashed on that?
Which concert?
I'll show it if you haven't already played. But I really, there are certain points where one likes to play.
Yeah.
You know, and I now feel. At that point, I was playing to prove that I was no longer, I don't know, a heavy Donovan, really. And I was trying to prove that I was, look out, man, I'm really Mark Hendrix, you know. Which I got over that one. And now I'm just a guitar player, and I'm a songwriter. Come back to the first question, because I've moved on.
Oh, that was about...
Someone banged the toilet, see?
Bang, that sounds like another song.
Bang the toilet, see? Get it?
Yeah. Oh, the original question was just about the transition from folk to rock. That's all.
You say folk. I was never a folk singer. I started with an electric rock band called John's Children.
Yeah, go ahead and ask me about
I started with a 1952 Les Paul. You know, and I started with a 400 watt staff. It was big. I mean, that's how I started. I was never a folkie.
Were you on the Smash Rock?
No.
That was the big hit in
That's the only one we ever had
in the U.S.
Nothing to do with me at all.
You know,
Was that before or
how
after
did you
your
join that? How did you join the band? Like, was it put together, or were you a band?
Yeah, no. The guitar player they had was pathetic. And Track Records was just formed, and they wanted a Pete Townsend of the band, and they wanted a folk poet, rock and roll, good-looking superstar, boogie woogie, schmo, you know, the old bullshit. And I was around. So hey, it's one of those. I mean, I could have been anyone. But all that happened is that I wrote Desdemona, which is a dynamite song, and it's considered. I don't know about here. Was it released here? I wouldn't think it was.
The only thing we know from here is the other one, Smash Block.
Yeah, well, it was like a #1 hit in Australia and Germany and places. In England, it demands incredible respect, as does My White Bicycle, which I don't know if people know by Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
The guitarist in it is the guy who's in Yes Now. You dudes are out of touch, man.
Well, we know
Yes.
But,
Yes is like last week, and we're talking about
who we're talking about.
Really,
Tomorrow,
nights ago.
Didn't Tomorrow have Keith West?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, they were the best group in fucking England
Teenage
for a
Opera.
week.
The Teenage Opera.
Oh, but he sold out. That was the rip-off.
Well, that's the only thing we heard here. Though.
Yeah, well, no, right.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
Excerpt from
well, no,
Teenage
let me
Opera.
just let's fill you in. Tomorrow was a group that there were 3 bands happening in the early underground in England. 3 bands only. Fairport Convention, totally different from the one now.
Right. Yeah,
Totally.
we know about that.
Yeah.
There was Arthur Brown, who had his flash here for a week. There were more. There were about 4 or 5 actually. There was T-Rex, which was me and the other dude, and there was and there was Tomorrow, who were trying to be the Birds. Steve Howe was trying to be Jim McGuinn or whatever his name is, Roger McGuinn. Same kid. He was trying. It's all he was trying, but they did it better, and they were hot. I mean, they were hot, man. I've never heard such a hot band. They were hot for 3 weeks. Do you ever get that here with bands? I mean, a band so hot, man, you can't believe it.
I don't really think so, because
in local areas, maybe.
Yeah,
No, but they were hot, man. When you walked in, My White Bicycle, you must check it out, man. If ever there was a million-selling record, it's that one. It didn't sell anywhere. There were 3 records. My White Bicycle by Tomorrow, Granny Takes a Trip by the Purple Gang.
Heard of that.
Right, Dynamite, man, and Desdemona by John's Children. Both 3 records were what you would call turntable hits. They got mass airplay, mass. Never sold a fucking record.
Well,
3 years too soon. Each one now will be a #1 record.
You're probably right about that.
Oh, there's not a doubt, man. Look, Van Morrison, man, with them. I did a show with Van Morrison when I was 17. My first record as a solo was called The Wizard, and he did one called Mystic Eyes with them.
Right.
And we did he'll hate me for saying it. We did a show called 5 O'Clock, we'll print it, man, it'll blow his mind, called 5 O'Clock Club, which is a children's show, which was me and Van Morrison, right? For little kids that big, it was very funny. But that's what, there was no underground there. It was too early, man. I used to play with Cat Stevens, man. We had a group together. We couldn't play anywhere. There was nowhere to play.
What kind of a group was that?
With me and him.
I mean, was that like just 2 acoustic guitars?
Yeah, it was like, I wrote this song here. What do you think of this? I wrote this song, it was one of those.
Yeah.
We couldn't get anywhere to play, man. I used to play at his house. His old man's got a restaurant. I used to go, big restaurant. I'd play at his house, he'd play at my house.
I mean, as far as an acoustic act being too underground?
Oh, no, look, we didn't play anywhere.
You played at his house and your house.
We played on the street.
Yeah.
There was no gigs. There was nowhere to play, man,
That was even before the UFO Club.
Oh, yeah, a year before, 2 years before.
Like,
it was happening, but no, you couldn't go anywhere. But everyone knew. Look, what happened with Cat was that he got involved in I Love My Dog and that shit. He got bullshitted with commercial rock and roll, and he backed off. He got very sick with TB, and then he rethought his head. He knew it was bad, but he gave it a shot. I gave it a shot. I didn't make it then. But when I made it, it was much bigger in my thing. And he's fortunately made it again in his own gig. Man, we know it. When we have a good time, because we both know what we didn't, the mistakes we didn't make, man. It's one of those. Thank God we didn't go with Harry, But in those days, man, to make a record was a big deal. Now I avoid signing anything. I won't sign anything. In those days, it was giving me a recording contract, man.
Yeah.
The people, man, that were around then. All your biggies now, baby, that couldn't get recorded. You wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe.
There were people like Rod Stewart back
Oh,
then?
Rod, man. Rod was like doing nothing, man. Rod was... All of us, man. We were on the street. We were, $2 a gig, man.
How did you, like...
Really? I mean, serious.
Eventually get signed, and, like, you had that single as a soloist, I guess? Is Marc
I did
Bolan?
4 singles that did nothing at all.
How did you, like... Oh, was this after John's Children? No, this was before.
3 years before.
How did you,
You do, I don't know. I met someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone. A cat called Jim Economides, who's an American dude from here. He used to produce the Beach Boys' first album. Did Little Deuce Coupe. And he met me and said, hey man, you're going to be a big star. I said, of course I am. Right on, And he, in fact, was a dude, a good man. He got fucked, but he was a good man. And that's how I got involved, and then I backed up. And I spent 3 years getting out of recording contracts. I spent 5 years getting out of recording contracts.
From that, your first step?
From everyone. No, there's more. The story is different. But meanwhile, let's talk about something exciting, not that shit.
oh, like from...
The history, you
couldn't believe it, right?
You won't believe it. The first demo I did had John Paul Jones on bass, Jimmy Page on guitar, and Nicky Hopkins on piano. As a demo, man. We got about £1 each.
Wow.
Well, those were, but none of us were, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy was pretty good. He was good. But he was in a group with a guy called Neil Christian and the Crusaders.
But when was this?
I mean, exactly, no one remembers now.
That's right.
64. 65. 64.
64.
The
name.
Done, man. America doesn't know what went down. Takes, to become what people consider an accomplished musician takes 10 years. And when you get there, I don't know, pay your dues, baby. I mean, like, when you get there, you are undeniable. Can you understand what I mean? I mean,
you mean you're there?
You just are. I don't care about you are there successfully.
As a musician.
You are a craftsman. End of story. Whether people like it or not, it's actually their choice.
Yeah, you're right. That's it. Like, you could be a craftsman, and
if they don't listen, then...
Or you don't have to be a craftsman, and then they could, like,
sell like we
anything.
don't have to name names, do it. Right.
So
GFR, I think.
What?
Think about it for a second.
Render unto Caesar.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear what you...
Rock and Boogie.
Yeah.
Oh, we have them too, though. We have a lot of those. But there's, everyone who has made it in America recently with any respect.
From England, you mean?
Has spent a long time doing it. Everyone.
That's true. How did you...
Music is such a gas.
From a rock and roller, how did you get into the Tyrannosaurus Rex acoustic thing?
Lack of money. I left John's Children and they took my electric guitar away.
Oh, they did?
They took my Les Paul and they sold it, and they took my stack and they sold it. And I had a little 12-pound guitar, which is $24. And that was it, man. And I had to play in the park for nothing. I would never ask for money, but I was in, people would take me home and feed me. And that's how I got into good work.
Why did you quit from the group?
I didn't quit, I left because they wanted to make me into a monkey. I hit monkey. That was, it was one of those, right? It was a monkey. They wanted, hey kid, with your face you're going to be a star, That's what it was. And I just said, After 4 years of trying it, it put me out of action for 2 years. I couldn't get legally, I couldn't get away. You see.
Yeah, I know. A little bit how those
for
things
2 years, I just lived on.
And what people brought home.
Right. Slept on people's floors, But I wrote reams. I wrote the first album, the whole first T-Rex. I wrote on people's floors. I met Steve on someone's floor. We slept on the same floor.
And that's where T-Rex came from.
He had some bongos and he had a drum kit which he used to have, but he sold. It was like that, man. It was that hard, wasn't it? Yeah. It wasn't easy. I dug it, man. I dug it like fuck, but I like that. It's interesting. You know, successes in different. So we were so.
One thing. How about like your
Mark Wilson Pickett.
Your vocal influences? You know.
And having Ford Cars.
What?
Greta Garbo. No. I don't know. I think.
Well,
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Probably.
That's the only question I really can't answer.
Probably too many.
You tell me who you think, and I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
That's so hard. Who would you say, Jim?
Only time I've ever gotten any particular idea of who you might sound like was on Elemental Child, where I thought it sounded like Ray Davies.
Yeah.
And that's the only one out of 4 albums.
That's what I would say.
That's very odd.
First time I heard that song, I thought it was the Kings.
In fact, visual.
He said that, what was it? Was it Victoria?
Yeah.
That he was trying to sound like me.
Yeah, I saw an interview or something like that.
He told that he was trying to sound like weird, man.
That is
weird. He's very into copying weird.
Were you
No,
like,
no, nasty. I don't like.
Yeah.
I think you can do it. That's why. I noticed the similarity in the voices in Elemental Child.
Oh no, I've never listened that much to the Kings.
Yeah.
I love Ray's writing.
Who do you like?
I think the band let him down actually. I love him as a writer. I think he should.
Well, you think the band let him down?
Well, yeah. Musically, they don't move me. I love his writing. He's his personal man.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I think they're very good.
Yeah.
But I think live they're not very good.
Yeah, they are.
They're terrible. And I can't
really
understand that, man. I can't fucking understand.
Yeah.
Tony, can you check out what's the dude next door?
The Cashbox phase. Yeah.
Because there's some champagne coming, because we should fluctuate
How are we
it.
going
It's
to
a
keep
neat
them
time.
happy?
Right, no,
They
people.
get agitated.
Right, because we don't do a Jack
Right.
Good. But there's some champagne we ordered an hour ago.
The Jack Good? Maybe it went next door.
Well, I wouldn't like that at all. 'Cause there's someone out, spaced
Well,
out,
help
and
them
we're
out,
sitting here
I'll tell
dry,
you.
right?
Is that?
You take that, yeah. Champagne then, please. You want, come on down.
Champagne?
Of course you do.
That's nice. I like champagne.
It's that,
Oh, bro.
get on there, Tom. Can we get our main man together as well?
Oh, he's, that's all.
Yeah, I'm boogieing, so I've got that tape piece together.
If the Champers is in there, it'll be with you.
No, but I meant the other gig.
That's together.
To have him, I never had a manager.
Yeah,
man.
what do you-
Shut the door, man. Fuck off.
And those together now.
I know, shut the door, man. Shut the door.
Musically, who do you like?
Do you know the move?
Yes.
Yes,
quite
we
well.
know the move quite well.
Do you know about what?
About
Really
him.
doing this?
Yeah.
Well, he formerly moved it,
Right.
Procol Harum,
Yeah.
Moody Blue.
Mm.
You know.
No, well, Russian is
He did it all. No, he did it all, man. Fuck all. He did it.
He didn't.
And they all fucked him. He came out cool. He was.
Well, we know about, like, him setting up the move on stage and smashing the TV
Oh,
sets
he
and
did
everything like
everything, man.
that.
He's history. History. I mean, he's living history. The only I haven't had a manager for 2 years now. The only man I wanted to go with. Not that I wanted. We sat and we went to New York and we worked. And he worked for me for 2 weeks. I did more in 2 weeks than people had done for 3 years. And didn't want a penny, man. Didn't even, didn't want to know. So then you said you're the big, you're the biggest thing that ever happened. And I want to be in there. And I rang him up 3 weeks later and said, look, Tony, will you manage me? And he said, well, I don't know if I can do it. You know, and in England, man, we're like $30,000 a night, you know. And he said, well, I don't know, man, you know. You got to do it. Where were we?
Oh, just want to know
I'm
about-
rabid. Don't print all my bullshit, because it's not nice. Let's go. I don't see Elemental Child as being Ray Davies. You won't. I mean,
Well, just
you won't
sound
print that
good.
stuff. What I
About
just told
Tony?
you. Well, no.
If you don't want me to, just tell me what I
Well,
want.
no, you mustn't, because I mean, he'd be upset.
Okay, I won't print it.
Because he wouldn't, you know. I don't say that to him. He'd be, but we embarrass him.
Okay, fine.
I'm too loose, man, with people. I forget. I don't know, and I assume that you're people to me. But why in England now? It's weird.
Listen.
I tend to talk too much and people print it all, and I've gotten in so much trouble because I look on people as people, man. You know.
Yeah.
And they print it like you're
Print everything.
like an animal, you know.
Yeah.
That's what's been freaking me out. You know, that's when I realised how big we really were. Was where everything I said they printed. You know, and they took that one line. You know, man, that one line out of context, right? You know, put it on the top.
Getting back.
Getting back. No, please. Your question.
No, I just want to know about your musical likes because
I hate music, man. Yeah.
I'll
What?
print that.
You print that if you want. The only thing I live for is music.
If there are any artists.
I love.
that you
Oh man,
really
there's,
like.
there's a list that would fill up your whole fucking magazine.
Oh, that's quite
Actually, I mean, you want some.
just-
Robert Johnson, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, John Lennon, Jeff Lynne, Roy Wood, Pete Townsend. For singers, just on vocal chords, Howard and Mark, the Mothers. Guitarist, Jimmy Burton, Scotty Moore, Bob Dylan, and go on.
How did you hook up with Mark and Howie?
We played in Detroit, where the last gig was the Turtle.
Oh, all the way back there.
We 69 there.
Mm-hmm.
We did 4 gigs in America. One was here.
Yeah, at the Experience, right? That was the last tour you did with Steve, right?
It's the only tour I did
That
with
was-
Steve. What a bummer that was.
That is-
Who managed that place then?
Oh.
Because he was lovely.
Marsh? Oh.
Marshall or someone.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Brevitz.
Lovely man. He should get he should have a bullet.
He was,
Give him a bullet.
He was
Give him a bullet.
a lovely man
No.
who was too nice to everybody, and that's why his club went down the tube.
Right. No,
So many
I
people
was
got
so,
in free.
he was so nice to me.
That's,
So was Elmer. When we did the whiskey day, Elmer was dynamite.
Yeah, I saw you.
And Elmer came up to me and he said, very weird. I don't know where he's at. Only that he was a very nice man. He said, kid, I know, man. I know groups. I don't know he's sure. Said, you are going to the biggest group in America. You know. In his head, you know. You know, I know where he's at. You know what I mean. That was sweet. Well, we filled it for 4 days, which I'm told is good. He thought it was dynamite. And we got
Well, he
paid
loves
about,
it.
like, nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So, I
Well,
mean,
he loves it when he doesn't have to pay you and he gets a full
Right.
crowd.
No, but I can, no, but he took a gamble, man. Let's
Not
let people
much.
in a car. No. You know. But, I mean, it was a gamble. But it was nice.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you about was your actual songwriting, the lyrics, you know, the poetry, which you're very into. But I realized what you said about, you know, what you said initially about, you know, being fun and like that. But I was just wondering about some of your adjectives, like Mambo Sun or Alligator Rain. Did you just like
Sounds good.
do that because it sounds good? I mean, it does sound
That
good.
does sound good, doesn't it?
It does. But I guess, does that have anything else other than the sounding to it?
Yes. For me to explain would I'd have to cut you up or transpose you very small and put you inside my brain. There are certain things that an artist can't talk about. Honestly, I'm not evasive. I'm not being evasive.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have an album?
Oh, you mean for the
Can we
lyrics?
stop the thing and let's give me an album and I'll tell you you're slim and you're weak. You've got the teeth of the Hydra upon you. Do you know what a Hydra is?
Yeah.
It's ain't weird, man, compared to, you're talking about, you're a number one
Well-
record for 8 weeks. You're putting in Greek mythology in a number one record. If that's not,
Well, I'm talking about the consistency of it, like, you know, because
you've
the
got
Hydra
like
isn't
a car, you've got a hubcap,
Yeah.
diamond star halo. Come on.
Oh, that's still
Well,
weird.
well,
But
come on,
it's
come
not like
on.
the Children of Rarn, though.
You haven't heard the Children of Rome, man?
Not
have
the
you?
whole thing, just the song.
Well,
One song.
that's not even the beginning of a giant epic. That's a taste. It's a blowjob, man, that one.
Well,
There's some lines.
gonna do that?
What I wanted to relate to are some lines on. For instance, poetically, Ezra Pound did some things, some very straight poetic works, when he did 1 or 2 line poems, a couple of lines. He was rasped off, you know, rasp in English means, do you know what the rasp? Rasp is a spade word. Rasp in English means hacked off, you know, people had a go at it. You slide so good, which obviously means you slide so good with bones so fair. You've got the universe reclining in your hair. You know, I don't know if you've met a woman that has, in your estimation, every piece of knowledge that you know floating in the top of their head?
Mm.
Well, I've met many people like that. Perhaps I'm a fortunate person. I can't accept any more. There's no way there's no better poetry for that. If Ray Bradbury was here, he'd agree with me, and I know he would.
Very into him.
I'm into everyone, man. I say him because he lives down the road and I haven't met him and I'd like to. You know? I mean, as a poet, I've never written such good shit, man. The fact that I don't... It's not full of 15 pages of cascading castles and opaque caverns. It's very different. His words, his lines on... The throne of time is a kingly thing, from whence you know we all did begin, the beginning of time. And dressed as you are, girl, in your fashions of fate, which is your boogaloo, caftan, whatever you want to get into, right? It's too late. And, I mean, you know, how many ladies do you know that are hanging on to last week's patched jeans, thinking they're funky, you know? Do you understand what perhaps I'm...
Yeah.
Shallow are the actions of the children of men. That's us, baby. Fogged was their vision since the ages began. Cain and Abel. And lost like a lion in the canyons of smoke, pollution. Girl, it's no joke. No, that's not poetry, man. There ain't no poetry.
Well, that's something that I do like about it. Like,
how can you dig that? I'm
Yeah.
just, you know.
Yeah.
you know, the words
Well,
are really important.
You sort of answered the question that I
Yeah,
had there.
no, that's all. I mean, look, it makes me cry because I just can't go to every single person who buys it. I would be millions of people explaining to what the stuff means.
Well, and
I don't write nonsense. A lot of people in the press in England wrote it's a dynamite album's going to be a #1 album, but it's all nonsense, man, and I cried. I
that's
burst
one
out
purpose,
crying,
like for interviews and things like that.
That's it, man. That to me, man, is that, you know, top it, Dylan. I want to hear him top it because I love him. I want him to top it, you know.
Well, he doesn't really write that way. I mean,
Well, he can, man. He's copped it.
He can.
I
Yeah.
mean, if he sat down now, man, he'd top it. And he'd do it better. But we're not fighting. You got a duel, man. The Stones, we topped the Stones with Brown Sugar, we topped McCartney with Another Day, we topped Lennon with Power to the People in England. We got the #1 on all those ones, they couldn't top us. And they know it, man, and they fucking love it. Because it's not bullshit. Now, we ain't Holman and the Holmans. They know that I know what they know, that I know it. Can you do? It's all the same, and I tell you, the stuff I heard at the Stones the other day was,
You mean the new stuff?
hot. It's all the same, man. It's not as hot as my new stuff.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It's your
No, but I disagree. But to get, for me, the revelation this year for me is to have dudes that heavy, knowing, accepting me, you know, not accepting, I mean, I don't need their acceptance, except, you know, like kinship, you know?
Yeah.
Southern kinship, baby.
Well,
You know,
I know
like,
what you mean.
we're the same, it's like, you know, I talk to anyone now, because I respect people as human beings. It's those people must know, they've seen all the shit's been like, McCartney said that, you know, he told me to watch out. He just said, you're going to dig it now, Mark, they're going to rip your pants off, but in 2 years' time you're going to hate it. 3 months later, man, I get him tired, and he knows, man, and he told me, and he knows, and he's 7 years in, you know, but he also knows where I'm at, so it was one of those, it was like a dynamite time. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, but it was important though.
Oh, anything you
But
want
what was important was that to accept someone when they're total competition and not be worried about it, because you realise that the same people. I am totally paranoid of everyone, man. Unless the people I think are as good as me, and all I want to do is watch them, man. You know, I don't give a fuck.
Also,
about
the
them.
position that they're in too, because I don't think a John Lennon or a Rolling Stone, established people like that, they're really not all that paranoid or neurotic about their singing.
Bollocks, man! You are so off beam, baby.
Okay.
I want to tell you, everyone is paranoid. No, come on, you check it out, man. I'm telling you the truth. Everyone is paranoid from the day they're born to the day they die.
I guess they would be.
Every #1 you get, the next one that follows, you've got to top it, man.
Yeah.
Or you ain't hot. You know, in this country, it's less in England. But you ain't hot, man. #2, anyone else is a ginormous record. To you, man, it's a flop. You know? I've got a room full of silver discs, man. But if I put a record out and it only gets to number 5, which is a big record, to me, man, it hasn't made it. I'm fucking giving up, you know? And I was talking with Mick and there's people about they know, man. What you do is, in the end, you don't listen to radio. You don't look at charts, man. You back off, which is what everybody's done. The Stones, Beatles, Dylan, everyone. It's slowly what I'm doing, which is why I'm here, not in England. I told you, we're so hot there now, man. It's burning me. I had to get away. Because I was getting like the phone never stopped ringing. You know, I mean, we had four TV shows on this week, and if you're at home, man, you've got to put them on. And I want to come and boogie. I want to see the Stones rocking, you know. The people watching it love, you know, it's good. We did good shows. We worked hard. I put everything of my whole being into it. But everyone's.
Yeah, I could see your point about, you know,
it never stops. The mania is it never fucking stops, man. How many number 1 records do you get to be secure when there's no security? There's no. You're gonna die, man. We're born to die. We're dying. You're getting old every day, man. You know, you got 40 years if you're lucky. End of story. Page 2. How can where's security? Where's the champagne, man?
Yeah.
But where's security? Do you dig what I mean? Don't ever believe ever that there is anyone. Well, I'm a star. Why do you think Bob Hope still does that yearly show, man? How old's he? Mate, when I'm 69, man, don't get me on television. You know? Think about it, man.
That's one thing I can't really imagine.
Well, you've got to imagine.
Anybody who's in rock and roll is
we're all, man, fucking road sweepers are in rock and roll.
Living past 40.
You think about Howlin' Wolf, man, and those people.
Well, that's not what I consider. Like, say, with the long hair and the freaked out stuff.
You're talking about materialistic images.
Well, visual images.
Visuals. What's that, man? It's nothing.
When you watch TV, that's what comes across.
No. I
Sure.
could have, if Bob Hope came on and sung to me like Bessie Smith, man, I'd kiss his feet.
I don't think you're going to have to.
He wouldn't sing like Bessie Smith, man.
Yeah.
You dig what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't confuse the two. There's a difference.
I'm just saying, with
the visual
me,
help.
With me, I cannot see someone like you or Mick Jagger coming out on stage and like on a TV when they're 60 years old. I just cannot picture that.
But I just said this. I've given me 5 years, man.
Yeah.
I'm about fucking 60, baby. In 2 years' time, man, I expect to be conducting the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. You know.
Yeah, well.
Because that's what I hear in my head. If I'm not, then I'll retreat into my country, Welsh island, and disappear. I'll send bootlegs out, you know. So what are you saying?
So make a movie, like you were saying.
Oh, movies for sure.
Are you very much into films, or have you?
I'm into everything, man.
From a technical aspect.
I love everything. I'm excited by things that excite me visually.
What does, as far as technicalities go?
Yeah.
What exactly did Tony Visconti, like as far as his role as a producer, what does he do? Like, how does he work with you on the albums?
In the role can you go next door and ask for the champagne?
Sure.
As an American producer, very little. He's an American in the Bronx. He's my friend. He does what Jimmy Miller does for the Stones. He's in the control room when I'm out the front. You do. So I'm in there doing it. I can't be going bring. I go, Tony, how does that sound?
Yeah.
He goes, well, man, it's basic. Move the mic here, there, and they go bring. But does it sound like Life's a Gas?
Yeah.
You know, I've got. You know, we're 40 years, man. You know, you go, and he says, well, it doesn't. I say, why, man? He said, well, I don't know, Mark. Is it the strings? I said, no, man, put more top on it. He'll put more top, and it'll sound and I'll do a comeback.
Okay, yeah. They just got some coffee and Coca-Cola with no champagne.
And I said, what's the best? So we're Don Perry. He said, but that's $24. I said, give me 2 more. Warner's pay for it, baby.
Well, that sounds like
will. Tony.
Tony, yes. Tell me what
Tony's are we going?
Yeah, going.
Tony's a gas. Tony, to me, is what every record producer should be. Is your main man. You're out there doing it, right? You can't really judge what you're doing until you go back and listen to it. And if I do something I think it's amazing on set, on stage, right? On stage.
I know what you're playing at.
No, to me it's a stage. It's I sit there. I visualize in my head an audience, and I go up and I hear it and it's terrible. I freak out. But Tony knows me, and I go up and it's exactly like I want to hear it, because he knows. Tony spends all his time studying what I want to hear, man. The other people that Tony produces are very different from T-Rex. The things that Tony does on his own are not really things that I personally feel very strongly about. But Tony with me,
how about like
it's a combination.
Like on some of the strings and stuff?
Oh, that's Tony. I mean, we worked together on it. The only track on this album that I didn't tell him not telling him what to write, we didn't work on it, was Cosmic Dancer, and I think strings on it are phenomenal. If he writes things that I don't like, I get very uptight about it.
Did you work this well with him, like even on the early albums too?
Always.
Does he ever use like the string parts if you really don't like them? Let's say like
I'd sack him.
I think probably right beside.
No, I mean, Tony knows that. I mean, he wouldn't do that because Tony has more respect for me. And that sounds hard. I don't mean that. I mean, if there's a part that isn't making it, he knows it. It's ego game. I won't allow ego game because I don't believe they're relevant to the people that want to hear the records. You know. If a garbage collector comes in and says, "Hey man, that tambourine's too loud," and I say, "Get out, man," right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And he shuts the door and I walk out and I listen and say, "Hey man, the tambourine is too loud." You did?
Yeah.
I'll pull the tambourine down and I'll go out and give him $100. I've done that, man. You know. But what it's about is that it's the overall concept.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I judge by my heart. I can't. It's very hard for me to explain. I know what I'm doing. People, it's that whole choice. If people like it, cool. If they don't, cool. People in America, up to Electric Warrior, really, I don't think I've had the chance or been able to understand T-Rex. This is it, the first album, man, for America, right? Do you not feel, for real America, you know, master, this is the first album. Man, you know, in England, which is a big market, you know, we're out selling everyone for 3 months on this album. And, you know, I knew it would be a big album. We've had a lot of big albums, but this is like, it's going to go gold in England.
Gold in England, that's your answer.
No, I didn't expect it, I'm telling you, man. Honestly. That freaked me. And only now am I beginning to realise how big we are there. And it's frightening.
Because you seem to be such a dominant part of T-Rex.
It's my band, man. You know, when you're dominant. I mean,
why wouldn't you just call it Marc Bolan or
because
T-Rex?
I don't want to be Donovan, man. If you dig what I mean, I'm not a solo performer.
Well,
I don't want to go on stage on my own. I'm a rock and roller. If I did it my own, I'd call it Marc Bolan and Friends.
Or the T-Rex band rather than... T-Rex,
why then? It's a better name. T-Rex is a nicer name, man.
It is.
Of course it is.
You more or less associate T-Rex with you and Mickey, which is like, I don't know if like now you consider yourself a band or just the two of you.
It's a band.
Okay, then that's...
It's my band, but it's a band.
Okay, then that's different than if you still consider yourself.
It's got to be a band. I don't want to do it.
Is that... What's one reason why like on this one you use like a band, whereas on the other one you and Mickey did all the stuff, the previous one?
Because we spoke about that. T-Rex, the album before, was done 2 years ago. It was done before White Swan, and everything is me overdone.
Yeah, I know that's
apart from
it would have to be.
Right. I don't like doing that. I ain't no Emmett Rhodes, man. I know that's not my scene.
Do you find yourself? Are you like creative enough to do it all and like that? Do you know what you want? Do you find yourself ever limited? I can look. I mean, what I mean by
we're
that...
We're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
I mean, it's...
Pete Townshend's demo sounds exactly like The Who, man. I can play you a fucking... an acetate of Who's Next, which sounds just like the fucking record. But that wouldn't give Pete any pleasure, man, because he loves the people in his band. And they're good people, and they're amazing musicians, and they do make it sound better.
Well, like when there's, say, in his case, an acetate, they say, well, here's... Does John Entwistle listen to the bass line and play it exactly? Is that what you mean?
Of course not.
Well...
Pete would... you see, no. Pete would tell him what to play, right? And then he'll add that one note extra.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes it genius. No, you say of course. A lot of people don't, man. A lot of people don't. You've got to find people that do.
Yeah.
The thing with my band is Steve, Bill, those dudes, I go and rehearse with them now, man. And they do it, and they play things that blow my mind.
Well, that's the point I wanted to make about you playing all this stuff. Or like...
I don't want them. I don't have an overdub bass line. I don't want to be a Paul McCartney. You know, like that earlier. You know, it sounds hollow. I picked people that get off on my song and can appreciate what I write, right? But they can also, without intruding on my artistic territory, contribute beautiful works of music and excite me. As I said, it's not an ego, no. I'm Steve. There's a song called Spaceball Ricochet. It's the bass Steve plays in it, man, is the best I've ever heard in my whole life. And I didn't even rehearse it. And I cried, man. It blew my mind. And that's why I do it. I'm not a solo singer, man. I don't be a folk singer. I want to get them there, my man. We just want to, I want to look round and know we're going to kill them. And when we come here, we're going to fucking kill them. We're going to have to, man, because, we're primed.
Does Mickey seem to like the way things are going?
Oh, Mickey is the dude of all time. Mickey's not a musician, he's an artist, he's a painter.
That's what it was.
But Mickey's my man. Mickey is the best conga player I've ever heard. He's not that hot at anything else, but he's the best conga player in the whole world.
I guess he has a good time doing what he's
you want to see his visual, man. You'll see, man, he's hot. He hasn't reached it. But working with, you have Bill and Mickey with the hand drums. You've got Santana, man, and two people. But man, that good, man. We're going through 10,000 watts of piano on this area, panning across it, sounds good. But I'll boogie. I'll say it one line. We'll finish on the line. Thank you. We rehearsed a session. We booked 3 hours, right, as a rehearsal session. And we played for 7 hours. We jammed for 7 hours, and we've been working together for a year now. And we jammed for 7 hours, man.
You want me to open one?
7 hours, man, to jam with guys that you've just come off the road with for a month.
Yeah.
There's something going down, you know? And we still went out and we got out of our minds and we were still boogieing at 7 o'clock the next day.
Sounds really good.
But no, there's fact.
Well, I mean...
You do know, that's what I'm at, man. I don't fucking rock and roll for. You know. There ain't no one in the rock business that's any good that isn't the same. And if they're not into that man there, an elbow, which means an elbow, an English phrase for elbow. Right? Cop that one. It's the heavy.
Okay.
Forgive me, we're supposed to do this other man.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
have we got enough?
Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm a bit slicey, but as I said, I'm very...